into mental health. And I know people, the audience want to hear us talk about all the great people that you and I work with. But what we're trying to do, we're trying to give them real game. So when people actually tune in, because it goes on the podcast, it goes, I'm going to have it everywhere. We want people to take away from some things that can actually help their life. And I mean, you're dropping some real gems. Mental health is something that is spoke about now. You know, a couple of years ago, it wasn't spoke about. How important is for any person, whether they're athlete or not, to keep themselves in a good mental space?
Man, it's crucial. I think, Chris, when you're in a good place mentally, right, everything else just kind of falls in place. When you're not in fog in your mental
Yeah,
space, when your mind is clear, you can see visions, you can attack different game plans, you can attack your goals. So you see a lot of these professional athletes, entertainers, people are making themselves a little bit more vulnerable in that space, right? Because I think you can also be a mental prisoner. You can
oh,
you
yeah,
can you can put yourself in jail in your own mind, right? When
right,
you don't make yourself a little bit more vulnerable and just talk about the things that are not always pretty,
right.
because not every day is glamorous, man. It's
Every day
there's no
not glamorous.
it's not glamorous. We all have down days. We all have days where we're not as sharp mentally as we would like to be, right? And so the key to it is on those days that you're not, is really not to run from it. A lot of times is to embrace it, right? And not be afraid to say, man, I'm struggling today. Because there will be
Mhm.
there will be days where you struggle mentally, you struggle physically, but it's not to say you're giving into it, but
Right.
you're recognizing what it is, and in order to get better at it, you have to recognize it first. So to see all these athletes and all these people coming out and letting people in the world know that, man, I got problems too. I
Right.
struggle.
It's normal.
It's normal. That's the thing right there. It's normal. And so I think the world has always looked at, man, you mentally weak. Oh, what are you, fragile? No, man, we all go through this. And so
Yep.
that is a normal thing. And in order to get help, right, you have to be okay with admitting that you need help.
Mm. That's
That's where it
amazing.
starts.
That's where
No,
it starts.
that's just where it starts, right? So we can't make improvements to your mental or your physical space until you actually acknowledge that you need to make improvements. And I think mental health is, I mean, Chris, you know what we do in the business we're in,
It's
being mentally sharp and having some mental strength and fortitude. That's what makes a difference between a LeBron and some of
yes.
the other guys in the league. So the mental health piece is really important, man. Just because these guys make a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they're
They're
popular,
human being. They're human
they're,
beings.
man, a lot of times they're more they have more mental problems than most because of the stuff that's being thrown at them,
Mm.
right? So man, being able to talk about your mental health is really important, because
It
I think it
is.
gives you some space to heal and become stronger mentally.
Great. Kennedy, bring that question back up. Okay, Phil, this is for you. This how does your routine contribute to your mental health?
100%. It Having a routine, it gives me it gives me confidence, right? Sometimes if I get thrown off my routine, I mean, look, I'm not a B C D E F type of guy, but I do have routines of things I like to do on game days, on off days, and if I'm thrown off of those routines, my flow is all messed up.
Right.
The flow of your day. I mean, just like you, Chris, you wake up early in the morning, and
I'm up.
I gotta A B get your day going,
Yeah.
right? So
I
the
gotta get
the
my day
the
going.
the routine that I'm in on a daily basis is critical for me to be able to get through the day just feeling mentally sharp. Those days that
Yep.
I don't, I'm snappy, I'm short tempered, I'm not as efficient. The days
Mm.
that I'm thrown off my routine to be able to know, okay, my day is going to flow. And again, not every day is it's going to be perfect, but
Right.
routine is really important to me in terms of just
That's
having some confidence and stability.
bring that up, Kennedy. Kennedy has this. They're chiming in some good ones from Adam. because most people don't think about this, Phil. How does travel affect the mental health in the NBA? Adam, this is an amazing question. Amazing question, Adam.
People don't understand it's not just the mental, it's the physical as well. So the physical is tied into the mental, Adam. We travel so much, players' bodies are just worn down. You get worn down just from the travel, from changing time zones. You play a back-to-back, you might end up in 4 or 5 different cities in 4 or 5 days. That's tough on your body. So when your body is physically tired, then your mind has to be strong enough to carry the load for the body, right? And so that part is a struggle at times because some athletes that are not in tune with their bodies, then the mental part is going to fail, right?
Yes.
Because even though you're telling yourself one thing, your body's is just shutting down. So being connected on all of those levels is crucial. And I mean, Adam, that's a great question because the teams in the NBA that are able to win on the road are most of the time teams that are able to win championships, right? So the mental piece, the travel, being able to stay mentally strong while you're traveling is really crucial. And if you're not prepared for that part of the NBA season, it can really mess you up.
Phil, I can't even put nothing on it. You boom. So Kennedy, because we got a lot of questions. People are asking questions. Was the bubble easier mentally or physically? I think what they're trying to say. But you can kind of take that and move it the way you need to move it.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of pieces to that. Mentally, I would say no, not easier, because you're away from your family, you're away from your friends, you're away from your normal routines, you're away from your home. You can't sleep in your own bed. You don't get to eat certain foods that you like to eat on game day, or just whatever routines guys have. That part mentally tougher, physically not tougher because we're not traveling.
No travel.
We didn't have to travel anywhere. So we were in one place for 4 months. So from a physical standpoint, your body didn't take all of that beating of, hey, we got to fly from Cali to Orlando. We got to fly from California to New York. So that piece was a lot better on the body. You didn't have to worry about being on airplanes for long periods of time. And travel is, like I said, those two things, it was two different things. I think the mental challenge was definitely tougher because in that bubble, that was the first time these dudes have ever played in their careers without fans.
Yes.
And you're talking about playing an NBA season, the rest of the season without fans. So mentally, you had to hit the checks and balances on that, and you had to do it quick. You had to adapt. You had to be able to pivot and adapt to that environment very quickly.
Very quickly. Okay. And Phil, we got like 2 minutes of 48, so we're gonna be shooting these questions at
That's
you.
all.
Nick Wright. How mental health affect your work ethic?
Oh, big time. Like I said, I think again, Nick, you're gonna have days when you don't feel like working. That's just a fact. But mentally, you have to click on, right? Because your body might feel like not doing it, but your mental piece will help you get through it. If you can mentally push through the barriers that you have physically, that may not sound right, but mentally pushing through the physical barriers, that's what a lot of time gets you over the hump. So yes, the mental space is really crucial to your work ethic because it allows you to keep going.
Yeah. So this one is this question statement is something that all fans always want to know about, and that's load management. Okay, what's your opinion on load management, and will it be more common in the future of our game?
Yeah, man, I'm 50-50 on that. I'm old school.
Right.
I'm real old school. There's two sides to that coin. I always believe that players get paid to play. Right? You get paid to play the game of basketball. The way the game has gone now is more scientific and it's more about trying to preserve the body. It's a load. It's a heavy load. 82 game season normal is a load. Even the season that we're playing right now
is a load.
We're playing 72 games and we play every other day, literally. So we don't have no time to practice. So the load management piece is there to try to take down injuries. That's what it's
Right.
for, and so I really don't like the word. It's a tough word.
Load
I think,
management. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's necessary. Put it that way. It's really necessary. If you want to help guys not be injured as much, it's necessary. And people say, well, they used to do it back then. How come they did it back then and you don't do it now? How did those players survive without the load management stuff? Well, I think days.
Hold on, we can't hear you, Phil. There you go.
My bad. My fault, Chris. My bad, Chris. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we got you right there.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I said I think a lot of players back then, right? They played hurt. A lot of players just played with injuries that people didn't know about. Medical staffs were different back then. They weren't as involved as medical staffs are now. So again, that's what I said is the game has become more scientific where people can actually read your load game to game and say, hey, Chris, man, you played 38 minutes. Your load was super high last night. Your load was the highest of anybody in the NBA. And so that's like a red flag sometimes when they have all this data that they can look at to figure out ways to help prevent injuries. It's just
Right.
more scientific now. So that's why the load management piece is more prevalent now because medical staffs are a lot more involved. Teams rely more on the medical staff and their expertise and what they're saying in order to keep players healthy. So it's just, yes, it's going to continue to grow and be a big part of the game.
That's amazing. Okay. What is the best way to get your handles right? Get the 94 Feet of Game app. Go get it. Like, go sign up right now and go get the app. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Phil.
That's a great answer. Nah, young fella, I think really one, right, making sure you handle the basketball properly, having the proper technique. Even with ball handling, balance and footwork are crucial, right? Those two pieces are really crucial to that. So doing the right kind of reps. There's all these different people you see out there handling the
Yeah.
basketball, but understanding the why you're handling, right? Understanding why, and then being consistent with the reps that you do. Right? It doesn't mean that you're reinventing the wheel. Like if you walk into Chris's gym and if you sit there for multiple days, you'll see the routines of some of the ball handling.
Yeah.
You walk in my gym, you'll see the routines of some of the ball handling. So we do a lot of the same things over and over and over again. So the repetition kicks in and your comfort level
kicks in. Kenny, I want to bring up favorite motivational books. This will be our last one for Phil.
Yeah, my favorite book, I have two of them. There's one book called Ego is the Enemy. I really believe in that book because, Chris, we've had many conversations over the years about not letting success go to our heads, right?
That's
How
correct.
many times I talked to you about that? Like,
Yeah,
as
you got to stay humble.
navigate through the humility piece. So, Ego is the Enemy is a great book for me because it's helped me stay centered in the midst of, some of the success I've had as a coach, to not feel prideful, to not be boastful, to not misunderstand the blessings that have come my way. And so that is a great book I believe in. And the other one is called Third Door. The Third Door is a great book, man. It's about people's journeys to greatness. And the whole concept of the third door is there are many different ways to be successful, right? So the analogy that the book uses, I'll break this down for you, and then we'll call it a day. But the analogy of the book is you see people at a nightclub. 90% of the people at the nightclub are doing what? They're all standing in line, right? So then there's that other 8% of people who are born into VIP. They don't have to stand in line. They just have VIP access, right? So the people stand in line, and you have the VIP. And then there's the other 2%. those are the people that they're not standing in line, they're not VIP. So I'm gonna run around to the back alley and find me an open window and get inside this club. And so they call that the third door, you know.
Wow.
And it's the analogy of how that works is there's more than one way to get into a club. So you just have to find that third door if it works for you. It's a great book, man.
I'm gonna go
It's a
cop
great
that
book.
one. That's gonna be a good one. That's good. That's a good one
Yeah.
right there. So Kennedy, bring
Good
up
book.
Adam. Bring up the last one where it's X God's plan. No, X God's plan. They just wanted to take a minute, Phil, to thank both of us for our interaction with the audience today. And I want to personally thank you for coming on 48 Minutes a Game and dropping gems for people so that we can educate, we can equip, and we can excel other developers, other people, coaches, trainers, whatever you want to call yourself by title. It don't matter. We're just here to give you a platform and to give information back. And thank you so much, big bro, for being on 48 Minutes a Game.
Nah, man, I'm proud of you, Chris. I tell you all the time, man, I'm proud of you, dog. The things that you're doing, man. Keep doing it. Keep creating, keep inspiring, man. Keep sharing that knowledge, dog. It's crucial.
Man, that's love. And we got the champ in the building. So I know you guys are going to make that run again. Don't forget they won the championship last year, and my boy been hot. So he got 3 of them. We looking to fill up them fingers.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dog.
Well, thank you so much, Phil. Let me end.